Jai Sri Krishna. And today, before we start the Srimad Bhagavad class, in which you're going to learn that what Dattatreya learned from the sun and the moon, I was saying that, because I thought of this bhajan and I said, why don't I play it? And then I figured, let me play it before you get to hear the talk about it. So it is one of my favorite bhajans, and I think it's a filmy bhajan, but an old film bhajan. And it is on the sun, and it says, Suraj re jalte rehna. O sun, keep shining. जगत भर की रोशनी के लिए, करोड़ों की जिंदगी के लिए, to bring light to the world and for the life of crores of people. सूरज रे जलते रहना, सूरज रे जलते रहना. And then it says, जगत कल्याण की खातिर तू जन्मा है, तू जग के वास्ते हर दुख उठा ले, भले ही अंग तेरा भस्म हो जाए, तू जल जल के यहाँ किरने लुटा रे. लिखा है ये ही तेरे भाग में कि तेरा जीवन रहे आग में. सूरज रे जलते रहना, सूरज रे जलते रहना. Now the first verse says, जगत कल्याण की खातिर तू जन्मा है. You have taken birth to bring kalyan, means it's to bring auspiciousness to the world. And tu jag ke vaste har dukh utha le. Since you have been born as a boon to the world, then for this world you take all the unhappiness, take all their burdens. And what are they? भले ही अंग तेरा भस्म हो जाए. It's okay if you are burning all the time. तू जल जल के यहाँ किरणें लुटा रहे. You continue to shine and spread your light to the world. And then the words say, लिखा है ये ही तेरे भाग में कि तेरा जीवन रहे आग में. He said, this has come in your destiny that you should live in fire and yet give light to the world. So let's do the second verse. And it says, Suraj re jalte rehna, Suraj re jalte rehna. O sun, keep on shining. O sun, keep on shining. And then it says, the second verse, करोड़ों लोग पृथ्वी के भटकते हैं, करोड़ों आंगनों में है अंधेरा. अरे जब तक न हो घर घर में उजियाला, समझ ले है अधूरा काम तेरा. जगत उद्धार में अभी देर है, अभी तो दुनिया में अंधेर है. सूरज रे जलते रहना, सूरज रे जलते रहना. So what does the second verse says? करोड़ों लोग पृथ्वी के भटकते हैं. So many people in the world are unsettled. So many houses have no light. And of course that has two meanings. But in this particular case, there's literally no two lights. And he says, Are jab tak na ho ghar ghar mein ujiyara, until each house shines with your resplendent light. समझ ले है अधूरा काम तेरा. So until everyone's house is not lit, think that your task is not over. And then he says, Jagat Uddhar mein abhi der hai. There is still time for the light to be there in every home. And he says, Abhi to duniya mein andher hai. Still the world is steeped in darkness. So suraj re jalte rehna, suraj re jalte rehna. O sun, keep on shining. O sun, keep on shining. And now for the lesson for today. Jai Shri Krishna. And last time we learned what Dattatreya learns from space, water and fire. It's very wonderful. It would be wonderful if you went back. If you haven't heard it or watched it yet, it would be great. But I read up to the pages 917, which is 917 of the Srimad Bhagavata by Swami Tejomayananda ji. And today we are going to learn what Dattatreya learned from the moon. And I read from page 917. The Avadhuta, which is Dattatreya, then told King Yadu what the moon had taught him. We see the 16 waxing and waning phases of the moon. We see the full circle of the full moon, but do not see the dark moon at all. Does this mean that the moon is constantly increasing and decreasing in size? No. In the same way, when our body grows and shrinks, we think we have grown or shrunk. We think we have become fat or thin, young and old. Actually, we do not grow, lessen, or age. Our nature always remains the same. It is out of ignorance that we superimpose the qualities of weakness, strength, stoutness, vigor, incapability, joy, sorrow, etc. on our bodies, pranas, mind, and other instruments. None of these modifications affect our true self. Just as the flames of a candle rise and fade incessantly, in the same way, the physical body goes through birth and death constantly. However, we do not realize this due to ignorance. The Avadhuta said, from the moon I learned that even while remaining in the midst of all changes, the self remains changeless. So basically, in my mind, what I'm understanding here is that what we see is not the truth. And that is what our Vedanta or our scriptures teach us. Maya means that which is not. But it is hard to understand that all this is a mirage. But again, I read today that Gyan se hi moksha milta hai. Eventually, it is through Gyan and this understanding that we get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. So just like the moon, we do not see the dark side. It does not wax or wane. Just like the sun does not rise or set, but we believe that it does. So similarly, that is what Dattatreya ji learned from the moon. Now let's see what he learned from the sun. Dattatreya ji said, just as the sun evaporates the waters of the oceans into clouds, and then the clouds release these waters onto the earth, in the same way the spiritual seeker also should consume objects of the world and then renounce them. Though it reflects on many surfaces in countless ways, the sun remains one and the same and does not become many. Moreover, on whatever surface it reflects, the modifications of that surface do not blemish the sun. In the same way, though, our essential self is reflected in our conditionings of the body, mind, etc. And though the appearances are many, the self still always remains the one. That is what I learned from the sun. The sun remains the same, the one and the same, and does not become many, even though it reflects on many surfaces in countless ways. So similarly, what he is saying is that though appearances of ours are many, the self still always remains one. And Vedanta tells us that just like the drop of the ocean and the ocean is of course not the same, and yet it is the same because it has got the same qualities of H2O, or the underlying gold in all our ornaments, which always remains the same. So the sun, and then I heard this very beautiful song, which is really one of my favorite bhajans, and it says, जगत भर की रोशनी के लिए, करोड़ों की जिंदगी के लिए, सूरज रे जलते रहना. And let me see if I can sing this bhajan for you and explain it to you. Okay? So, yeah, so I actually have read only 2 pages, but let me complete reading this and then maybe I'll sing the song for you. Life and nourishment on earth are possible because the sun, it is the earth's source of energy. In the same way, we too should become the source of energy and inner strength for everyone. We should be the source of inspiration to everyone. In the Katha Upanishad, it is stated, Suryo yatha sarva lokasya, chakshur nalipyate, chakshusai bahya dosai. The sun is like the eye of the entire world, meaning it illumines everything, but remains untouched by the merits and faults of anything. This is a unique quality of the sun. We too should illumine everyone's lives through the light of the spiritual knowledge, yet remain untouched by anyone else's qualities. See, the sun doesn't distinguish whether it shines on a sinner or on a saint. And let me see, I hope you enjoy this particular song, and then maybe this is what maybe we could learn. So I will stop here, but I will sing the bhajan, and I hope it goes well, and you take care, and God bless.